descending to leveling off. So it'll be down, 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 and then here you'll kind of pull back to stop that descent to start that